RPGs were something I couldn't vibe with when I was younger. Sure, there was always Pokémon, and if you were a kid who grew up playing video games, you were bound to play a Pokémon game at some point. I mean, there are hundreds to choose from. But the concept of an RPG game was dumb to me. I have to wait my turn? Why would I be forced to take damage? And why does everybody keep talking forever? Just let me fight some bitches already. For whatever reason, I wasn't willing to give RPG games a chance. Even games like Undertale, praised for its unique approach to the genre, with its spare or kill options, bullet hell style combat, sands, etc, etc. Me being an absolute mongoloid in middle school, couldn't figure out how the axe system worked and said, "Fuck it, this shit's gay as hell!" And instead played Custer's Revenge or something. Fast forward to Undertale's Switch port coming out. My friends would not stop talking about it, so I had decided to pick it back up again after I had given up on it so long ago. I gave it a chance and I fell in love. Its combat was great. The characters and locations were really creative and interesting. Also, the music was really good.
Megalovania, anyone?
Anyway, about a month later, Deltarune Chapter 1 was revealed to the world. I remember that day fondly. I had skipped school that day, woke up about 1:30 p.m.-ish, checked YouTube, and there in my subscriptions was a single video about Deltarune. I looked it up, downloaded the installer, excited to see what Toby Fox had up his sleeve this time. Huh, that's weird. I wonder why it's labeled as a survey program. Oh, yeah, sure, man. Whatever. The game is giving off kind of an uncomfortable vibe. Actually, starting the game up doesn't help to alleviate that feeling either. Booting up the game for the first time is a strange experience. A voice from the void will ask if they're connected to the player. The game will then ask the player to create a vessel. Many of the options are similar, and there are only one different pair of legs out of the 5 choices. The voice then asks you some basic questions, along with the vessel's name and your own name. Entering your own name doesn't really do anything, other than name the save file, from what I know, so you can be as silly with it as you want. In an absolute Chad move, the game tells you to go fuck yourself and deletes your creation, giving you some mute loser named Chris. You wake up in your room, one half belonging to your Chad brother Asriel, look at your dumb, stupid face in the mirror, flush the toilet multiple times like a jackass, and go to school with your subject to tons and tons of porn mother, Toriel. If the names Toriel and Asriel sound familiar to you, then congratulations, you probably played Undertale. But you'll notice on your way to school that the town's population is composed entirely of characters from Undertale. But it's been confirmed that Deltarune is in fact not a sequel to Undertale. You'll arrive at school, fashionably late, and have to find somebody to partner up with for a project. After failing to find a partner, Susie walks in at the last minute. A purple, dinosaur-looking tomboy mommy GF, and suddenly becomes your partner. Realizing she has no chalk to start the lesson, Alphys tasks Susie and Chris to go to the supply closet and get some more. Dude, are you 3? Why the fuck are you literally eating chalk? Jesus Christ, I'm sorry. Please don't hurt me. After being denied Vor, Susie and Chris walk to the supply closet despite my many attempts to run away. The closet turns out to be very dark and menacing. So they both go in at the same time, only to reveal a dark room with nothing in it. On the way out, the door closes and the papers that were somehow carrying the two start falling down, 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 taking our 2 heroes down with them. At the bottom, the corpse of Chris... At the bottom, Chris wakes up on a mysterious cliff overlooking a black void. During this section, the game introduces overworld hazards in a clever way. These little orb things appear, and while at first they are harmless, they will shoot at you on the next screen they appear on. Though they would be too slow to hit you, even if you weren't paying attention. After reuniting with Susie, they suddenly get spades chucked at them by a dark figure, and are chased into an empty town. At the end of the town, a castle can be seen with the dark energy spraying out of it. We are soon told that this castle, the Card Castle, is the only way out of the Dark World. The reason is that Chris needs to seal the Dark Fountain or else everybody dies and shit. Chris and Susie are 2 of the 3 heroes that can save the world, but before we can find out who the 3rd one is, we gotta fight this little pudgy man first. This is Lancer, the son of the king, and he's come here to kill you. The combat is one of my favorite things about the game. It plays out like most turn-based RPGs do. You'll take your turn, the enemy takes theirs, repeat until you win or lose. But the enemy's attack is what sells it for me. A little box appears in the middle with a heart inside of it. This heart is your soul. The only thing that stands between your soul and the opponent's bullets is your fingers. The other unique feature is acting, but I'll explain that later. One Lancer fight later, the person in the hood is revealed to be the third hero, Rousey. She is a Wait a second, that's a dude? Like, I understand that not all men have to be entirely masculine, but everything, like, the way he looks and the personality all say girl, but the game says boy. You know what? Whatever, man. I don't care. Since this is on my mind, now is a good time to talk about the way the game looks. The game uses the same pixelated art style that Undertale used. Same fonts, similar looking human character, very slightly updated text box and UI elements. The locations are varied and the colors chosen are pleasing to look at. Character designs are also really good. The main party's colors look really good when put right next to each other. The enemies, and in fact the entire card aesthetic of the game, is inspired by artist Canutines, specifically some playing card inspired characters that they made in 2012. After some walking, we meet up with Suzy, who doesn't seem to understand the concept of puzzles, convincing her that maybe we can get home using the power of friendship. Suzy joins the party, but isn't going to let you boss her around. Instead, she will only attack. Now in theory, this concept is pretty interesting. A character in your party that you cannot control sounds like fun to work with, but it falls flat in execution. All you have to do is press the warning option in the act menu. Suzy will then automatically miss all of her attacks and makes her worthless. Not that her hurting anyone would have mattered anyway, given that only minor things change in the story depending on whether you fight or you act. It would have worked better if warning enemies wasn't guaranteed to work all the time, but I guess people would have been mad if something out of control ruined their pacifist run. Lancer shows up occasionally to do the big funny or create roadblocks for you to get past. In one instance, Lancer has you pull out a team name from a bucket. I went with the one with the swear word in it, because my mom lets me play the Xbox for 3 hours, and my dad works in Nintendo, and he told me that they will add G-Man from Half-Life 3 into Smash Brothers. Please somebody pay attention to me. I have no friends, and I'm very lonely. This is a cry for help. My uncle keeps asking to play the No Pants Cook-Off game, and I can't take it anymore. Anyway, your path is blocked by this round dude who's got them legs that are about to make me do something freaky. This is where the acting system comes into play. Acting is the peaceful way to end fights. The context may change and sometimes you'll have to play small minigames, but it will always end with you either putting the enemy to sleep or sparring. Since acting isn't very necessary, the game will make it mandatory for you to act in some fights. Like this fight, for example. You'll have to bow in order to make the round dude bow. Another feature is group acting. Sometimes an option will require 2 or 3 party members to pull off, not allowing the members involved to do their own action after acting. This feature is great, and I would like to see it better implemented in the future. Realizing that being a hero really isn't her thing, Suzy decides to team up with Lancer. They don't really do too much other than do the bigger funnies, like eating salsa from a tree stump, selling you cookies, and have you plan out a machine to kill you later, judging you for your excessive use of guns. You'll eventually act them into being good guys, and Lancer will join you for a little while, until he finds out about your true intentions and seal the fountain. He runs away and has you locked away in a dungeon for all eternity like the little bitch that he is. Being stuck in prison comes with its benefits, however, such as some bling for your wrist, and an all-you-can-eat buffet of moss. Suzy somehow manages to escape the cell. When she leaves her cell to come free Chris and Rousey, Rousey instructs Chris to think really hard about what Suzy is doing right now, which allows us to tell her where to go through the sheer power of fuck it, I don't know. Suzy confronts Lancer saying that he locked the party up forever so that they couldn't fight Lancer's dad. Suzy then promptly beat the shit out of Lancer. There is a cool little thing to note in this fight. As the battle progresses, Lancer slowly becomes weaker and weaker, his will to fight slowly draining. Near the end, he doesn't even put up a fight. His bullets are few and they purposely avoid you. This is a really cool way to tell story through gameplay. It shows that Lancer is brought to a point where he knows he cannot win. Suzy realizes Lancer isn't fighting back, so she stops fighting him and agrees to not killing his father. Since something special is around this area of the game, I might as well talk about it. During the game, 2 hidden chests can be found containing broken parts of a key. One of the pieces can be found in the area marked question mark at the elevator. The area is featureless, only containing a cell with a very interesting character. The character tells the party that they are locked up, and the person inside the cell is free. After talking to this person with a very interesting perspective on life, you can travel to this shopkeep near the beginning of your journey and ask him about the prisoner. He will give you a part of the key, and the key can be repaired and brought back to the cell. Unlock the cell, and you'll meet a little jester man named Javel. He'll swing at you, and a fight will break out. Like most enemies, he can either be spared or killed, though fighting is easier in my experience. He'll attack you with all manner of things like card suits, a scythe, and rubber horses. He'll pound your ass if you're not ready for it. This is the hardest fight in the game after all. So hard in fact that I'm rushing these last few paragraphs right now because I got too lazy to finish him. Though if you do win, you'll get the scythe, named Devil's Knife. As an axe for Susie, it makes quick work of the final boss. And in the name of laziness, I will now summarize the last moments I recorded in a few words. Could you put your hair back over your face, please? Those eyes look ugly on you. Yeah, that expression is how I feel right now, too. Dude, that was the wildest high I had, man. Vibes.